Hello everyone. We are live here on air. We are, meaning I'm Irene from SaugaTalks. With me, my co-host Brian Thomas from Coruzant Tech. Hello, Brian.
How are you, everyone,
I'm doing
today?
wonderful. And we have the esteemed guest with us today. We're speaking with Ken Herron. Ken, how are you?
I'm doing great, and thank you, by the way. My mom always wanted me to be esteemed, so I will be sure to let her know when we finish.
You are absolutely esteemed, and the reason for that is that you're driving marketing organization. You are CMO at UIB, and
Correct.
on top of that, you are global influencer, Ken. That's how we've met.
I think we are all global influencers. The minute we share what we're doing online, we become an influencer.
That you put it very nicely, Ken. Absolutely. And we announced the topic today, and topic is the chatbots that are changing the business and the trends around that. So Ken, you and I met before and we talked about conversational AI. We talked about virtual assistants and all this cool technology that's really changing the way we buy, the way we eat, the way we work. I cannot wait to get into those points. First of all, chatbot, what does it mean to you?
Where do I start? And I'll try to take off my geeky hat. Anytime we are having autonomous communications, anytime we are able to talk to a thing, a physical device, picture it, your car is now connected. And to understand chatbots, and by the way, happy IoT Day. Today is IoT Day, so I will kind of share how chatbots, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things really are connected at the hip. It started several years ago when we saw all new, call them powered products, any product with capability started being connected. So the minute a product is connected to the internet, has some type of ability, you can now control it. And we see that in the form of mobile apps. We see that in the form of smart speakers. And as this is about chatbot trends, we're really seeing that in terms of, think of it as conversation, think of it as chat, the ability through voice and text, all conversation, to be able to talk to our different connected things, including databases, including software, including different platforms, have them be able to understand us and talk back.
Brian, works for me, Brian. Go ahead.
And I hope that people that are listening and joining in now, whether they have a lot of experience in this area, Ken, like you do, or not, I'd like to share just a quick story to that so people can kind of grasp what's going on. And actually talked to a scientist in Switzerland this week about quantum and how this is going to impact everything, right? So there's, I'll just tell a quick story. About 3.5 years ago, I was helping a friend, wife's friend, with her computer, and it was an older computer, and it was on a weekend, of course, right? So most people aren't open on the weekend, but you never know. It depends on the company. So she needed some memory in her laptop, and I cleaned up some things, and so I went to Dell. It was a Dell laptop, and I got online, and there obviously you can't get a hold of anybody, but there was a hey, discuss here. So maybe they got some people working, right? No kidding, true story. I got my answer in about 2 minutes chatting with somebody there, and they were great, and it was polite and everything else. And at the very end, I figured out it was a chatbot. I was blown away. And this is 3.5 years ago. Imagine today. So I seen a demo recently, and I know this is Irene, sorry, but I seen a demo recently, and I'm going to give a little plug to Hyro.ai. They're out of San Francisco, Silicon Valley. I've done a podcast with them as well, but they, one of their engineers was one of the engineers that worked on the Google team. If you heard the famous call, the restaurant or the salon where they scheduled a call with the chatbot.
The infamous call, yes.
The infamous call, they actually are affiliated with Hyro.ai. I want to just give a little plug, Irene, so you can scold me later, but amazing. If you get a chance, the conversational AI is simply amazing. And this is the stuff that really gets me excited in juice. So anyway, I had to share that story. It was 2 stories. Irene, I'll have to pay her later, but thank you, Ken, for sharing that.
And it's
Absolutely.
great that you mentioned the conversational AI, because the technology that enables this to happen, some people call it natural language processing or natural language understanding. There are many providers out there, and there's a lot of interesting discussion as which provider is right for me when I am creating a chatbot, if I'm a chatbot builder or I'm an end customer doing it. So the ability to be able to support whatever natural language processing engine makes the best sense for your business. For example, if you are a very large business with a large number of intents, something like an IBM Watson or Google Dialogflow may be best for you. If you are a smaller business, if you have a much smaller number of intents, there are a number of very good open source natural language processing engines that can meet your needs. So it's really about working with someone who can understand what you're trying to achieve and then helping you to do that on budget, on time.
Yeah, let's step back from here, Ken. Let me pick up on this, because amazing stats flying out there. I'm seeing numbers astonishing, that 80% of organizations will be deploying some form of chatbot. Yes, this is the language we're using, right, in their business practices by 2021, they said. But guess what? This is 2021. So we see tremendous growth in interest, like you said, from big vendor, mid-level vendors, right, and smaller companies as well. So where do you see this opportunity? Because I know it's finance, healthcare, retail, insurance, right? So please name some of the biggest opportunities.
Sure. The common use case that people tend to jump to, and you mentioned it right at the start here, was the ability to instantly answer a question. So if it's off hours, if a live person isn't available, or if a live person isn't affordable, that ability to not just give an answer instantly, but to give the best answer. We all know in our companies, there are people that explain different things really, really well. Some people are better at technical explanations. Some people are better at the non-technical explanations. So this ability, and we think of chatbots, it's not just responding in text, it's the ability to respond with video, with audio, with image, with all these different types of rich media based on what the person is looking for. Let's use an example of I'm charging my car. In Singapore, I have an electric car. I'm using a charger I've never used before, and it's giving me problems. Well, there may or may not be a live person available, but I can now talk literally to the device itself, and the device can kind of figure out, okay, what kind of car I have, do whatever settings adjustments, and help me through. Maybe I want a nice, gentle voice to talk me through step by step by step. I'm not a very technical person, so just tell me it's going to be all right. Calm me down if needed. And chatbots, whether we call them a conversational assistant, a virtual assistant, they can do that. There is sentiment analysis to know when I'm stressed, to know when I'm agitated or in a rush. So to calm me down and help me through. And maybe we can't make right now the process of charging your car simpler, but we can make it much easier by taking it step by step by step and breaking down what is maybe a multiple step process and going at the speed and at the pace of that person. So that gets very exciting to me as an example, that it's not just helping someone who's maybe stressed, maybe in a rush, maybe in a hurry, but matching the way they need information. Because if I'm a very technical person, if I've done this before and I just forgot something, it can give me a quick checklist. Do this, do this, do this, do this. Just a simple image, simple diagram. Or let's say I'm not literate. There's still many parts of the world where maybe it's not a question of English as a second language, but maybe I don't necessarily have the ability to read something. It can show me a video or even an image or an illustration that shows me in a diagram how to do something and to get it right the first time I do.
Absolutely. And in 2021, bringing it to today, because technology is not new, right? But it keeps evolving. So in 2021, what I hear is that customers want chatbots to become more human.
A lot of that comes into the writing, that we think of a good chatbot as having a personality, and not just a personality that's friendly or haha. It's a personality because the people who create chatbots are businesses, are entities. What is the brand that they're trying to get across? And let's use the example of a luxury hotel. Even different five-star hotels, if you're looking at, pick one, a Four Seasons versus a JW Marriott, both premier luxury properties, but they're different brands. They have different value propositions, different ways in which they express themselves. All of that can be delivered through the chatbot. The same training that you would give a human staff member, you can use to train the AI so that they are delivering service in the way that a live person would be expected to, consistently with the best possible practice.
That's awesome. And if I could add just something real quick, and I'm kind of the sidekick here to Irene. She's really the superstar. But I do like to share some of my experience. So I ran a call center, and the I'd say the challenge with having a call center with humans, we love humans, right? We're all human and we're all connected. But
some of them, yes.
Until the robots take us over, yes.
Yeah. Well, I heard that the world would be perfect if there weren't people in it, but I don't know. But really, the amount of management of the human process, you got to listen into their call, how they do, and you have to respond every week or actually every day to customer complaints because they had a bad experience with the agent. Some agents can't take that level of volume of calls, high stress, or grumpy customers, right? So the AI makes, back to your sentiment analysis, Ken, I think that's simply amazing that chatbots are now that advanced where conversational assistants can really interpret the mood and the sentiment of the consumer on the call. So I think that's going to be huge, and it's just gotten better. And I've recently, like I said, saw some demos around the latest in conversational AI, and I was very impressed.
Let me share something. We right now are at this magical point that our CEO describes as the golden age of the collaboration between human intelligence and artificial intelligence. So this goes a little bit against, dump the humans and this will work perfectly. What we find in experience is that the most effective chatbots use both humans and the AI. And let me give an example. My mom comes on. She does not want to talk to a bot, has problems hearing, would have a number of different issues, and would probably just be stressed or irritated by the whole thing. We can identify the people who are less appropriate for a chatbot or people for whom the chatbot cannot answer the question. The goal for any type of conversational assistant is not to answer, ironically, not to answer 100% of the questions, but to answer the majority of the questions, what we think of as the frequently asked questions, because that's where the sweet spot is in terms of cost. There are still some difficult, ugly, emotional things that are best handled by a human, or it's an expertise that investment has not been made into the chatbot itself. So really that sweet spot is, how can we handle the majority of frequently asked questions autonomously? And that frees up the people, allows us through intelligent routing, smart routing, to share those specific issues, questions, problems with the people who are best able to handle them.
Yeah, Ken, this is inspiring. And in a way, right, we're still talking about externally facing functions, right?
Actually, no. Some of the most incredible use cases I have seen are internal. And this is nothing against the customer engagement. We work with reseller partners. We sell through reseller partners, and many of the solutions they sell are designed for customer engagement, customer service, everything you mentioned, sales, marketing, support. But some of the more ROI-rich opportunities are internally. For example, many companies use multiple databases, multiple systems that each has their own interface, needs training. Well, what if let's say I'm a floor supervisor and I work at a factory, what if I could say, what were today's results? How did they compare to yesterday's results? How did they correspond to this time last year, this time last season? Now, I could have a junior clerk, or I could have someone go into these different systems and find all of that out, but the ability to get an instant answer visualized in the company's format, that I can now do all of these what-if analyses in real time, because I can now talk. And when I say talk, it's always talk or text. Our research says that people love to do both. It's not just voice, because that gets kind of old and tiresome. And once we're through the virus and we're let back out in public, you don't always want the world hearing and listening to all of that. So this ability to ask a database for financials, to ask a database for result, to see production numbers through voice, through text is very, very powerful as an internal chatbot use case.
Absolutely, because I was getting into this topic right before you jumped to it, Ken, because I know it's your favorite kind of, driver, because what I hear that chatbots helping to streamline internal workflows.
They save so much time. I'll give a very simple example. As a company, we use our own technology. What used to be a pain, I'll share the story. We write quotes, we write proposals. To do that, we need a quote number. Well, there was a magical, special anointed person in Singapore who wore the special quote number beanie, and we would have to call them and answer all sorts of questions and then be issued a quote number. That's kind of silly. That didn't make a whole lot of good sense. So now we do this through a chatbot and just say, quote, I'm writing a quote, give me a number, give it to me. Again, with the variants, you can speak in natural language, and it will ask all of the questions. And through a Google Sheets integration, all of that is captured, all of that is stored, all of the exceptional cases are there. But what happens is I don't have to wake someone up at 3 a.m. Singapore time in order to get a quote number. I can now get all of those things instantly. And if there's different exceptions, because there's always weird little details, I can include those, and all of those are fully captured. So from an internal streamlining, optimization, productivity perspective, it is amazing.
Absolutely. I love that. And Irene, I'm gonna step on your toes one more time. I'll be quick about this, but you're right. I've had some success. We used a couple chatbots in a work environment. One time, there's a lot of trial and tribulations to roll something out like that. But the fact that you can actually employ something to pull humans out of those mundane tasks on a day-to-day basis, customer satisfaction goes up. Initially you got to get the bugs out, but initially goes up while you allow more free time back to your human assistants, and that's what I love about this. I really do.
It can really take away the grunt work. And by taking away the grunt work, that means for both the user, the customer, as well as internally. One of our case studies, one of our customer success stories is with Samsung, that we did a product warranty registration process, and a big company, consumer electronics, appliance company, people would need to send in their paperwork. They would need to fill out a form. They then moved it to the mobile app. Okay, people need to go in, download the app, find the app, download the app, fill it in, log in, password, all of that. It just wasn't very friendly. With a chatbot, they call it the warranty bot. Now with the warranty bot, I can message a photo of my receipt showing proof of purchase. I can message the barcode, the serial number on the back of the product. And in less than 60 seconds, my product warranty registration is complete. That what was a multi-step, slow, and very costly process, done, over. And you can also opt in for marketing communications, which is, the icing on the cake for any company. That's anyone who sells through retailers, distributors, different types of people. You don't always know who has purchased your product. So by making that visible, they're now able, with opt-in permission, able to communicate directly with the people who have purchased their new appliance.
Beautiful. So we did talk about automating business processes, like, relying on chatbot instead of live person, on the other side of this world. So that's impressive. What about the overall benefits for the business? Because it seemed to be no-brainer, right? Chatbots now mainstream.
Often the ROI is, people tend to focus on the cost savings, and that's great. Because that's an ROI thing that's very easy for the financial person to go through and say, yep, this is good, let's do it, saves money. I like to remind people of the revenue impact as well, that it's not just about saving money, but when you provide a better solution, when you provide a better service, that creates opportunities to get more money. Whether you think of it in terms of upselling, that you've not just improved the relationship, you've created a completely different experience, that it creates new tiers of service that you are able to support people in a different way. And we should have started with a superior customer experience. and I know people focus on cost savings. I know people focus on revenue generation, but that ability to differentiate your product or service, to really have that superior customer experience, that's always a part of the business's value proposition. Whether you're an industrial or a consumer business, if your customers are delighted when they do business with you, that goes a long way.
Brian, any thoughts? Questions?
You're absolutely right. Again, it's about, at the end of the day, Ken, it's the customer experience, right? And if you, again, leveraging a tool like this that will reduce customer frustration, improve efficiency and productivity for your company and your employees,
everybody wins.
Everybody wins, totally. So, yeah.
And the fine line to that, it's not just about being better, it's about being better in the way that differentiates your brand. Going back to the hotel example, every business has their own secret sauce of what makes them special, what makes them different. That when you deploy any type of chatbot solution, when you keep that in mind, what differentiates your brand, what makes us different, what is our secret sauce, that can be built into that personality. Whether it's having a caring voice, whether it's being on the cutting edge of technology, or as we've seen in the case of some businesses, simply having empathy and possibly even a good sense of humor.
Totally. Good sense of humor goes a long way. Absolutely. What about recommending new products? I read that chatbots really widely used, right? For that.
They can really help with shopping. And let me give an example. Quick disclaimer, we support all channels. We are an omni-channel messaging API company. That said, we're seeing some very cool things from Apple Business Chat, from Google Business Messages, and from WhatsApp, where you happen to be a WhatsApp business solution provider. With Google, we use Google for search. We use Google Maps. So with Google Messages, now if someone's searching, let's say for a new pair of sneakers, they can come across your company and they can tap to chat. They can tap to message instantly. So when we talk about helping someone, the chatbot can help someone to find that pair of sneakers they want. And again, whether they're just looking for color and style, or they're trying to look, I have an arch problem or a foot problem, and I have a very specific need, the chatbot is patient. If I want to spend 2 or 3 hours to go through a process, the chatbot will do that unfailingly. If, because I have a busy life and kids running around and all the rest of it, if I need to start and stop, the chatbot is still there. It can start back up wherever I left it. So we know that years ago, people used to watch TV at certain times. Now we stream everything on demand.
Yep.
A chatbot lets you have that discussion when it's most convenient for you, because it's really given you the control over how much detail you want to go into, how you want the back, and of course, language. That if I happen to speak English, Spanish, Arabic, Chinese, it doesn't matter, because the chatbot can now speak in whatever, not just on whatever channel I choose, WhatsApp, SMS, something else, WeChat, depends country by country, but the ability for it to speak in my preferred language on my preferred channel, now you've got something that's very, very exciting.
Ken, today, thank you for reminding us, today is IoT Day 2021. So for those who are watching us live or in replay, congratulations. So anyone in technology and everyone in technology field. So I speak with a lot of experts and entrepreneurs, and they're informing me about how technology is converging these days. We don't talk about silos anymore, right? We do think about the full stack or at any given company. So Ken, can you please talk to us how IoT becomes a mandatory, almost, right, unavoidable technology when you deal with chatbots, virtual assistants, conversational AI, you name it.
We talk a lot about conversational AI. Very tightly associated with that is conversational IoT. That think of it in terms of a refrigerator. Refrigerators are now connected to the internet. Refrigerators now have cameras. So now I can literally talk to my refrigerator. I'm in the supermarket. I don't know if I need milk, don't know if I need eggs. Well, instead of having to call someone back at the house, I can literally, talk to my refrigerator and say, send me a shelfie. Literally send me a photo of the inside of the refrigerator so I can virtually open the door, see what's in there, rummage through as I would and say, okay, this is what I need. This is what I don't need. So that ability to talk to the refrigerator, and we're seeing some very interesting mobile commerce come of this, where the refrigerator manufacturers are saying, we can let you know when you start to run out of eggs. We can actually make that purchase for you automatically based on your needs and preferences. So this idea of the refrigerator doing the shopping for you is not so far-fetched, that we're seeing a lot of interesting uses of that already.
I think we actually live, I think we're all in that generational age group, right? But we all know the show, the cartoon Jetsons, and I thought it was far-fetched as a kid that we would ever see that. And today, if you think about that in that example, and I love that, by the way, shelfie, that term, I think we're here now. And a lot of this innovation, as Irene mentioned, a lot of technologies were siloed. And now the convergence of this, and a lot of it has to do, believe it or not, I call it the silver lining that we see through this pandemic, is people have innovated like crazy this last year. And this is awesome. I mean, besides floating on hovercraft, which that technology, drones, right? That's here, but we're living in the Jetson area if you think about it. Autonomous cars, I mean, that's crazy.
I don't know if we ever realistically thought growing up that we would talk to inanimate objects, that they would understand us, that they would be able to talk back. And whether you have a smart speaker or a complete smart home where everything from the lights, the locks, the music, the shades, all of that not only can we talk to things and control them and change settings, but they can now anticipate that I come in, okay, it's the end of the day, so this is the end of the day setting. Or, he's in another one of his moods, so we'll put on the happy mood setting. Mm-hmm. It really does change and give a lot of interesting opportunities, because many companies used to have a business model that was, we sell you our product. You give us money, you leave, we part friends. Now it's much more of an opportunity. What are the services? What are the subscription services that we can offer that add value? A friend recently bought a new car. My last car, when I bought it, you bought the car, you paid the nice man, took the car home, and that was it. Now there are a dozen different subscription services. There's the music service, there's the concierge service, there's the mapping service, this page after page of different monthly fees, where the car manufacturer, this is great. We're getting money on top of money. This is fantastic. And the user is actually happy because they can pick and choose the values to say, well, this is actually pretty valuable. So to constantly have the navigation be updated and built in on the big screen versus using the phone, this is pretty cool stuff. So it's interesting to me that it doesn't just solve business problems or help a business to differentiate itself. It really comes down to more money by meeting the customer's needs in a new and innovative way.
Good. And what I'm seeing, this is almost like mainstream now, right? If car does not talk to you, if you get a new model and it's dumb as can be, nope, right? This is a big
Well, that's an excellent point.
Yeah.
It used to be that this was for early adopters. This was for the super geeks or the people who are willing to pay for it. Well, now, even if you're looking at a mid-priced or economy value-priced car, you're looking at all the options. Well, I can talk to this one, but I can't talk to this other one. You're going to go the one with the perceived greater capability that connects to your phone, that does all of these cool things. And it really gives a way for the auto manufacturer to better understand what people are doing. Think of it this way. When you're using a mobile app, it's always fixed. At any particular update, you can only do what the app allows you to do. With conversation, as people think of things, they can ask for them. I was listening to a talk earlier this week with the gentleman from Walmart. And he said that the chatbots, the conversation are amazing to him because it surfaces all the blind spots. They think they know what customers want. And this is a company, big budgets. They spend a lot to understand what customers want. Their aha moment as Walmart was that they were learning things they did not know. So many people tell us that it's the conversational analytics and insights, the cost reduction is great, the revenue generation, but the real crown jewel of any chatbot are the conversational analytics and insights, what you learn because people can ask for anything. And one example I give is a dishwasher manufacturer. People were saying, play music. It's like, okay, the dishwasher doesn't play music. It's a dishwasher. It makes noise, but it certainly doesn't play music. Well, if you're the product manager for the company and you see one or two people in the chatbot asking, hey, play music, you kind of laugh about it, mention it at coffee the next day. How many people? Is it 200 people, 2,000, 20,000? Because it's not just that you can quantify the requests for new capabilities, you know geographically exactly where they're coming from. Okay, so this zip code, this neighborhood, this country, they want this capability. That is so powerful because having worked for large companies for so many years, we spent an inordinate amount of money on customer market research to try to understand what customers want. Now companies can get it, quote, for free. They just need to actively listen. And we have the tools that help them to do that.
Huge potential there. Wow, thank you for bringing this up, because if in one particular neighborhood, people in need of singing dishwashers, okay, we need to send additional help there to the community because people don't get enough exposure to culture and music.
And it's easy to laugh at a dishwasher that plays music.
I'm serious.
But let's say you are a governmental organization and there's been a disaster. There's been a flood, there's been a hurricane. I live in Florida. We have a lot of hurricanes. That ability to listen at scale and understand the specific resources people need as they need them, that is priceless. Because we tend to think of it's all about the push. It's all about the broadcast. It's all about being able to send out the messages. And that's valid. That's important. But it's also, in the past, we've had other ways to get the message out. We have not always had the ways to listen at scale, to make what people are saying, again, speech and text, to make that actionable. So the chatbot's abilities to do that is really very, very powerful.
Amazing. Thank you, Ken, so very much. We are at the end of the broadcast, so Brian, any words in closing? Because so insightful and inspiring conversation, Ken.
What I take out of this in every session, and thanks, Ken, for taking your time out of your day to join us and share your message with our audience, but it's another just awesome time that I can sit and be SpongeBob, really, and absorb the knowledge. This is really, I think, with all the changes, the innovation, the advancement of technology, plugging into something like this is like a master class in literally 30 minutes. And we do this every week. I think it's awesome. So thank you for sharing your knowledge, and we're going to get this out to the world. We really appreciate your time.
And a quick plug, people can learn more about UIB on our website at uib.ai.
We will link to this video, Ken, absolutely. So thank you so very much. Thank you. Best of success to UIB. And we'll do what we can to promote this talk. But most importantly, we do live in exciting times. So thank you.
We do.
Thank you, Ken,
thank you both.
Sharing.
This was fun.
Absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen.
Cheers. Ciao.
Happy IoT Day.